several stories from our business desk in New York. Bobby Soriano files this report.
Good evening. U.S. markets are closed. Here are your latest business headlines. President Biden spoke with Chinese President Xi Jinping for the first time since taking office, discussing a range of issues regarding human rights, trade policy, and international security. The call, which took place Wednesday night, put President Biden's concerns regarding China's, quote, coercive and unfair economic practices in the forefront, while his Chinese counterpart reiterated that cooperation is the only correct choice for both sides. This is the first call between the leaders of the two largest economies in the world since March of 2020, after relations between the two countries continued to deteriorate even after the signing of a trade agreement under former President Trump's administration. China failed to meet its 2020 purchasing targets of American goods under the trade agreement, and the Biden administration looks to respond by maintaining the Trump tariffs along with a more multilateral approach to China with its allies. From automakers to consumer electronics, semiconductor chips are a key component of these items, and the current global shortage is beginning to have an impact on earnings expectations in 2021. Yesterday, General Motors announced that due to the chip shortage, the company would have to cut back on production of several of its models that require the chips to control car features, and that its earnings for the year would be expected to drop by $1.5 to $2 billion. Other companies, such as Sony, are also blaming the shortage of PS5 consoles on the lack of availability of semiconductor processing chips, which are required to power them. The semiconductor shortage is due to a perfect storm of high demand for electronics and a cut in supply as chip factories were forced to shut down during the pandemic. Lastly, as the vaccine rollout continues here in the United States and is expanding to retail pharmacies and grocery stores, one question that has become the center of attention is what should these companies do with leftover doses? Starting today, approximately 6,500 pharmacies in all 50 states will be receiving 1 million doses from the federal government. But states are not united in their rules for eligibility, with some states having strict penalties for businesses that inoculate customers who are not considered high priority, with some even going so far as suggesting disposing of leftover vaccine doses if no eligible individuals are available to receive them. Retail pharmacies such as CVS and Walgreens, however, disagree with the government's guidance and have enacted their own guidelines within their stores on addressing these situations. These guidelines include giving leftover doses to people who have signed up on a wait list or to their employees. One TikTok video has recently even become viral, which shows a random grocery shopper being flagged down to receive the vaccination rather than having the dosage go to waste. Bottom line, we're not going to let a dose go to waste, a CVS spokesman was quoted. Turning now to the weekly jobless claims numbers, first-time unemployment claims were at 793,000 for the week of February 6, which continues the downward trend from the adjusted 812,000 of the previous week's level. U.S. indices remained relatively flat today as investors were greeted with mixed economic news and earnings results. Reporting from New York, Bobby Soriano, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.